Coming up with application fees is a huge problem for a lot of families trying to move into new homes. It's hard enough to come up with the money to move in, but to come up with multiple application fees that may or may not result in a lease, it's throwing money away, money that you could definitely have used for something else. $150 to a homeless person could be Pampers, it could be wipes, and some of these places that you apply to, they have instant results. So you walk in, you pay your application fee, and you find out in 10 minutes that you just lost your application fee, that you didn't get the property, but at the same time, you walked out $100 less, and to be homeless, that's a huge impact.
I have this letter here that I can get rent for 6 months, but I don't have money for the application fee.
At least 50%, maybe 75% of our families had a letter stating that their rent was going to be paid for.
Saying there's that big crash of when you find out you got help and then that the help didn't do you any good.
You know how frustrating it must be to have a letter in hand that is going to provide financial support for 1 year and cover all of your costs, and all you have to do is find a place to accept it, and you spend days and ends up being months for many people who have multiple derogatory issues on their reports, and just to find that perfect match. Now, the thing is, we always house them. I've never come across a family that I was unable to house. So it's only a matter of the process. If I know in the end I'm going to find a home for you, what if I was able to eliminate all of the steps that it took along the way? What if I could meet you and see your barriers in advance and then put you into a system to where it would find the match for you? That would, it could save months, and we could move that process along and save a ton of money for those families.
When market conditions are tight and it's the poorest of the poor who may be eligible, they may even have public assistance to move into a place, it makes it that much harder. And we want to house people. We want to, cure homelessness. We want homelessness to go away in this country. And there's a lot of very smart people and a lot of money being applied to that, but it still relies so much on the private marketplace. There's not enough money in the world to build public housing for every homeless person in America, every homeless family in America. There just isn't. So people have to be out in the marketplace competing with me and you and anybody else for available space. And anything that cuts through that chatter and lets somebody know instantaneously the places that will accept them is just gets them, they're not homeless anymore. They know in 5 minutes whether they're going to be homeless tomorrow or not. Takes all the uncertainty out of it. That's why it's important.
It would be nice to sit down with them, fill out one application, send out that application, and then be able to show them, that they can find a place to rent. Somebody is going to be willing to rent to them with their barriers, and not send them to, 5 or 10 different properties to get that yes answer.
And there's usually a $40 to $80 application fee per adult. And it's kind of hard to come up with that money right off the bat, especially when you've been turned down 10 or 11 times for one already. It gets really disheartening. And just as being humans, we want to do it all ourselves. And it's really, really hard to do. Our stress level got really high. My work suffered for it. I know my wife's work suffered for it. Spending all the time either looking for a place or worrying about looking for a place.
It's hard on the kids too. It's harder on them than anybody can imagine. It's almost like they lost their creativity, their imagination to to be able to do what they love doing, and going from being able to do it and going to not being able to do it completely all the time it makes them not want to do it ever again. It makes them think that they're not going to get to.
It's hard. It's very difficult to, it's hard to sit across from someone and say, I'm sorry that you're going to be sleeping in the car with your children tonight. But we have other people waiting to come in that are sleeping in the car with their children. Everybody has to get their turn. It's hard.
There really is a need for a program like NoAppFee.com. In my mind, being a central clearinghouse where you know, many landlords have signed up with their complexes, and so one of our clients would fill out one application and with the criteria that they're looking for and with the baggage that they have, and they would get you know, very quickly they would get a yes or a no from a landlord or places to explore. They don't have to go visit 5 apartment complexes. They don't have to give 5 different landlords a $50 or $30 or $75 application fee. And they know going into it, as long as they put the proper material into the application, that they're approved, just like that. And that would cut out so much time. It would actually allow people to move out of this emergency shelter like ours much sooner, and allow other families that are waiting for a space to come in. So not only does it house more families in permanent housing on the back end of a shelter experience, but it allows families that need that emergency shelter to come in because we would have the vacancies.